cards shuffled and in the container. I've already taken the back out and the front and put them somewhere else. So that way I didn't have any knowledge of what those were on the ends. Bottom of the, we've got a cabin here. It has to do something with the cabin. Matter of fact, I was at a cabin when I was in junior high school when I was talking about those rats. Maybe someone's going to start talking about something when they think that person is away on vacation somewhere. Maybe they're talking about them behind their back, and that was what would bring in the fluff and fold about being two-faced. But I'm going to say it again. Are they really being two-faced if they're just speaking the truth? You don't want something being said, then don't do it. It's super easy. We've got the umbrella. Someone is taking cover under the elements, perhaps. Maybe someone is being protected by the higher ups. Someone who's in a place of authority. We've got this awkward silence going on. Something should have been said, or maybe someone's waiting on something to be said. Not upsetting, or upsetting the apple cart. So they're waiting on someone to say something that's going to upset the apple cart and it's going to cause some kind of problems. Candy. Maybe whatever is being said is upsetting the apple cart and it's going to lead to something sweet. The cabin can also be the card, it could be called a lodge as well. Maybe it's the awkward silence that is upsetting the apple cart because someone's not saying what they're supposed to say or doing what they're supposed to do. That's a possibility. Someone's got a bright idea, but I have to tell you, an idea without works is nothing. Just like a light bulb without a lamp is pretty useless. I mean, I guess you could use it in protection if you had to. We've got diamonds here. Applying pressure to someone and it only created diamonds. Maybe that's not what their intention was. We've got a rabbit. Maybe they produced diamonds pretty quickly. Or they pretty quickly came into a state of zen. We've got fellowship here. So they're in a place of balance, zen, and fellowship, guided by love. Someone's broke. Maybe the fellowship is broke. The lodge is broke. Whoever's part of the fellowship is broke. Someone's swapping something. Wow, that didn't get shuffled very good, huh? We've got Medusa, the whole victim blaming thing, so they're swapping the whole broke situation for the victim, or the victim for the broke. Maybe they thought they could sacrifice this victim in order to get paid. We've got the number 24 here, which adds up to a 6, which just implies that someone's just an imperfect person. It's that connection between the spiritual world and the I guess the human world. The world of man. Someone could be actually 24 years old. Could have something to do with the 24th day of the month. Hey Google, what is the 24th Amendment?
The 24th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1964, prohibits federal and state governments from requiring the payment of a poll tax as a condition for voting in federal elections. It was a significant civil rights milestone, intended to end discriminatory barriers that prevented many people, particularly low-income individuals and African Americans, from exercising their right to vote.
Thank you for letting me write this. Okay, so maybe there was some kind of discrimination in the poll place. Maybe someone was saying, maybe someone complained that something was happening, like someone was trying to apply pressure, or someone was telling fibs, or someone was actually a victim in a situation at work. And this person was actually probably let go because of it. And maybe this workplace didn't address it the way they were supposed to. Maybe they silenced this individual or tried to silence this individual by direct orders of the CEO of the company or the lodge. So because they weren't able to speak on it, and because they weren't even in communication with the person that was probably on a leave of absence, now they've upset the apple cart, and now something sweet is going to come out of it. They tried to pressure this person. They had an idea to put this person under pressure to disrupt their sense of balance and disrupt their sense of fellowship with others. They wanted to make this person broke. And then they swapped their destiny. Again, this goes back to the fact that people are imperfect people, folks. It doesn't matter what the storyline is. I think the takeaway here is people are just imperfect. There is no person that will ever be perfect. You can't expect people to act in a certain perfect way or to do the right thing, because they are imperfect. It's just the way it is. The number 17. Hey Google, what is the amendment of the 17th Amendment? I don't know why I think that's important.
The 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1913, established the direct election of United States senators by the people of each state. Before this, senators were appointed by state legislatures. The amendment also outlines the process for governors to fill Senate vacancies through special elections or temporary appointments. Would you like to know more about the history behind why this change was made?
Hey Google, you were saying by the people of the state?
That's right. Before the 17th Amendment, the U.S. Constitution required state legislatures to appoint senators. The amendment changed this, mandating that senators be elected directly by the people in each state instead. This shift was designed to increase democratic accountability and reduce the influence of special interests or corruption in the selection process. Would you like to know more about how vacancies in the Senate are filled under this rule?
Due to possible corruption. So there could be some kind of possible corruption in here happening.
Corruption was a major factor. Prior to the amendment, the system for electing senators was often prone to bribery and influence from wealthy special interest groups,
Oh, really?
leading to the public perception of the Senate as a millionaire's club. Additionally, state legislatures would sometimes deadlock, leaving seats vacant for long periods. Do you want to hear more about how the Oregon system helped influence the push for direct elections?
Well, that's interesting. Thank you. No, thank you. So you guys heard that, right? Need I say more?
All right.
Promiscuity also. They were probably trying to lead this person into promiscuity, or they were trying to say that this person was promiscuous. And in saying stuff like that, it's like, oh no, everyone, this person's promiscuous. Oh no, they are just such a bad person. Throwing the judgment and whatnot, they probably thought that they could get their story across, or whatever it was that they were trying to portray this person as, just by labeling them as someone who's just not worthy of protections, I guess. Like they're not worthy of success because they're labeled as promiscuous. I mean, quite honestly, anything that's going on between two consenting adults that's not harming or hurting another individual, and they're keeping it protected, mind you. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. It's nobody's business. And just because it's not right for you doesn't mean that it's not right for someone else. It's kind of like we're in this whole community, or this whole thought process, that it's like there's only one right way, and it's like, no, there's the way that people are led to be is the way they're led to be for a reason. Everyone has their own way of learning things and finding out what works for them and what doesn't work for them. I'm not promoting excessive ways of being or whatnot, or unbalanced ways of being, or I'm not advocating promiscuity as well. I don't promote anything other than your own connection to the Most High. Doing what's right for yourself as far as balance and safety, and being in a good state of mind, right? Harm no one, don't harm yourself. Living in truth, living in honesty, living in love. That's where I come from. So going back, obviously something wanted me to deviate the fact that we were talking about the Millionaires Club and bribery and things of that nature being connected to our cabin card and to this whole CEO umbrella operation. You have to be mindful of the fact that there are a few corporations that own multiple corporations, of which you're thinking that they probably shouldn't all be owned by the same corporation, just because it's like a monopoly at that point, even though they're being guised as different companies, if that makes any sense. Again, I'm going to reiterate, it was the fact that there was the silence that upset the apple cart. Had they dealt with it the way that they were supposed to deal with it, they probably would be in a better stance to keep whatever it is that they were trying to hide. We've got the flower crown here. Someone's just in a state of peace. Another card with the bottom cut out. That's so weird. Huh. Interesting. Anywho. This Medusa is actually in a state of peace. She just lives and let lives. She's actually quite balanced. I have to go back to this number 17 card being underneath the rabbit. It's run amok. This whole system and everything else, the bribery and everything else, and the controlling nature is it's run amok. Trying to assign and appoint people to their roles, it's gotten out of hand. We've got the violin. Someone's got a sad story. Oh, there she goes, running her violin, telling her sad story. Maybe they're trying to gaslight this individual and trying to discount or diminish the things that this person has actually gone through. I mean, they're pushing this person to a place of having to live at a campground. Maybe they're saying these things to the people in their own camp, trying to diminish the seriousness of the situation of what this person is going through, considering it's underneath the broke card. Perhaps the whole group is going broke. I do have to say, though, the violin, the music itself, can be very moving. We've got the snail. There's a trail here of everything that's been done. And it all leads back to them. You can't swap that out. You can't swap evidence. You can't swap the trail. You can't swap, as I said, I think in the previous video, you can't swap destinies for very long. You just can't. We've got assumptions here. Someone made assumptions about Medusa or this victim that was in the scenario. We've got a kiss coming in. Perhaps someone made an assumption about the chemistry or the relationships that this person was having. Maybe they made an assumption of what kind of relationships they were. Maybe they thought just because they kissed somebody that they were being promiscuous with the individuals, when in all actuality maybe they really wanted something that was more long-term and more stable. The actual painting of the kiss, I forget what the artist's name is. I'm sorry about that. But it's a very famous painting called The Kiss, and people assume that it's about a love story as far as a romantic love story, when in all actuality, the kiss was made because this person was actually in great respect of his friend and business partner. It was a platonic kiss, folks. Don't ever make assumptions that you know what's going on behind the scenes just because you see people kissing. I mean, granted, if you some kisses that you can totally tell, but if there's just like some kind of kiss, don't assume that you know what you're talking about. Maybe someone was being pressured to kiss somebody. Maybe someone was taking upon themselves about the imperfect part of a person, and they were trying to pressure somebody into being more kissy face with somebody. We've got someone with facial hair, a kiss that grew. Making a deal with the devil. I guess that solidifies or confirms the fact that someone was probably forced into some kind of situation, or they felt like they assumed that they were being forced into some kind of situation. And because of it, they ended up making a deal with the devil that they had no intentions of making on their own. But it kind of grew into the situation, well, now I'm stuck. Or they have a feeling of being stuck. Maybe they got a virus. Maybe it's the mentality that caught on like a virus. As I was saying before, it's like, don't assume that just because you're being told that that's the way something is, that that's actually how it is. Do the research for yourself. Use your own discernment about what it means. Biblically speaking, if you're reading the book, or I haven't read all the other books, but if you're reading the Bible, it will speak to you. That's why they say you can read the Bible more than once, because you'll discover things within it that you may have missed before. Kind of like when you're watching a movie. If you rewatch the movie, you'll find different parts or different scenes in the movie, or different way things that were made in the movie that maybe you didn't recognize before. But there's a sense of discernment that happens when you read the Bible, and the connection that you have to the Most High will speak to you and will explain things to you and will connect with you in ways that maybe you just didn't see it that way before. A lot of times when we hear things, we're just kind of focused on what we were told versus what we feel is the actual story. When someone tells you something, oftentimes you can feel that maybe that didn't sit right with you, which would lead to something that obviously needs to be investigated. Don't just take it as what is being said. Traditions. Some traditions spread like a viral situation, right? They're just passed down from generation to generation, or it's just the way we do things in this organization. It's like people are focusing more on the ceremony of things or the tradition of things versus connecting to what it is that's going on. In the face of things that may appear to be something that, oh yeah, this is just the way that we do things, so it must be right. when in actuality it's not. Judgment and persecution of any individual, regardless of whatever it is not okay. Just like if you are doing some sort of, if you're handing down punishment for something in a court, because the Bible does say that you need to respect the courts and you respect the laws that are given by those courts. But there's always certain ways and paths that you have to follow in order to, like in the Constitution, ratify some of those rules or overturn some kind of those rulings. But when you're handing down punishment for certain crimes, it's like you would hope that those things would be balanced, and you would hope that people would get the same punishment for the same crime across the board, but we all know in some cases that is not the case. So if you know it's not the case and someone is being wrongly accused, or if they are being rightfully accused and they're being punished in a certain way that doesn't seem right, then someone needs to step up and say something about that. Don't assume just because something has been quote unquote tradition, this is just the way that we do things, that it's right. Anything that harms another individual is not right. Anything that is being punished unjustly is not right. The Most High is of love. The Most High is of balance. The Most High is of fairness. The Most High is of forgiveness. The Most High is just. A lot of times people think that you have to have some kind of heavy punishment or heavy, what am I trying to say here? Harshness in order for people to learn a lesson. To be taught what's right. Where does that come from? When it comes from the hands of man, where does that come from? You have to ask yourself that. If the Most High is about love and being just and being fair, being respectful, how is anything outside of that being called tradition or being labeled as tradition? How does that make it right? How is taking away, stealing, thievery, how is bribery, how is any of that stuff right? How is any of that stuff considered just? Unless it's something that's just been passed down the line as this is just the way we do things. It's kind of like that game of telephone where everybody sits around and one person starts the sentence, and by the end of the sentence it's a completely different sentence. Or maybe it's just skewed in just enough way that it just kind of has the outcome way different than what it was meant to be. Passing down traditions could happen that way. Passing along information could happen that way. People will make assumptions by filling in the blanks, and then it completely distorts what it was originally. If it feels off, it's off. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. And if there's something disgusting or not very good happening around you and you're okay with that, there's something wrong. Especially if they're calling it to be part of some kind of In the name of the Lord. There was a comment made on a previous post or a previous video that I had done. Regarding divination. Now, mind you, had you done, or, you know, if anyone comes to the channel and looks at the description of the channel, these are just artworks that I've made, and I'm telling stories through them. I'm not telling anyone's future. And you have to ask yourself, considering that, you know, the Bible was put together by a group of 12, they decided what was going to make it into the Bible and what was not. It's in the Life of Times of Jesus Christ coursework at college, where they actually had a canon of people, or I'm sorry, they had people deciding the canon of what would be involved in the Bible or not. So if we know that there are human beings that were deciding what would be in the Bible or not, isn't it safe to assume that there might have been stuff that was kind of left out on purpose? Not to mention there are people who were assigned to copy the Bible because they didn't have printing presses back in the time. And so these were scribes who were meant to copy the words of the Bible so that everyone could have a copy. Isn't it safe to say that there could have been, I wasn't there, but that would have been an ample opportunity for someone to change the verbiage of the Bible in itself as well. Could have left parts out. Could have skewed it the way they wanted it to be. We won't know. But your connection and discernment to the Most High would know how to decipher what was being said. Never make assumptions that just because someone in a place of authority has said something that that's actually the way it was meant to be just because it's a tradition. Always do your research. We've got a doctor here. Doctors are human too, you know. Doctors can make mistakes, you know. I had a doctor that wanted to put me on beta blockers before I even went to a specialist. Why would she want to do that? Did she not know that whatever the ailment that I was dealing with could have been anxiety connected? Did the doctor even question the fact that maybe whatever I was going through could have been having to do with a hormone imbalance? But yet she was quick to want to put me on beta blockers. Had I not done my own research and asked the question, why would you want to do that? And I just blindly followed whatever it was that she said that I needed to do because it was just based on tradition. You just trust your doctor. I probably wouldn't be here right now. And mind you, what she was giving me beta blockers for is not even an issue at this point. Somehow it resolved. I mean, I could say I have an idea of why it resolved because maybe they weren't doing, and I know this is from left field, but the place that I was on a leave of absence from, they had this strange flower or plant in a shopping cart in the shopping center to where there was nowhere around the shopping center or the parking lot this bush that this would have come from. Like literally there was no bush nearby that had this flower or this twig or this plant. And it was in a circle inside the shopping cart. And I took a photo of it because something said take a photo of it and do the research. And lo and behold, that plant was connected to the exact reason why someone would need a beta blocker. Isn't that interesting? I mean, you could be grabbing at straws and just saying, oh, well, that just because that was there doesn't mean. Well, I asked our assistant manager about it, and I said, doesn't this seem weird that this is out here in this shopping cart? And she said, yeah, that is weird. And then I later found out that it's traditions in some religions that they do magic. And the people that I worked with, 2 of them said, yes, I believe in magic. I believe it's real. I had one of the co-workers say that yes, she indeed practices magic. Of which I forewarned her, be careful with that because you may end up in a situation that you can't get yourself out of. I personally don't mess with magic and stuff of that nature just because it's like I respect the Most High and what the Most High has planned. I don't think it's right and I don't think it's fair to mess with someone's free will or try to bribe someone into seeing things your way or wanting things done your way or having them do something that is not in the Most High's plan. But for some, it's a tradition. That's just the way they do things, and that's their business. The abyss. Quite honestly, if you make a deal with the devil, you just end up in the abyss, on the edge of nothing. It's kind of like that slippery slope. It's like you have to continually make these deals with the devil in order to continually support the habit or the deal. And I do have to mention that the deal with the devil is at the center of the entire reading. We started with the cabin or the lodge. We have the split of the deck of the CEO with this awkward silence upsetting the apple cart, thinking that that was a sweet deal. And we've got all of this surrounding the fact that there was a deal made with the devil. We've got someone trying again with things trying to appear a certain way and applying pressure, trying to make someone sick. Maybe if we make this person even more sick than we tried before. We've got Ming. Ming is the clam that was, 400? They assumed it was 405 years old. But then they took a closer look and found out that Ming was 507 years old. But in order to do that, Ming is no longer here. Oopsie. Ming was the oldest documented living specimen that they had at 507 years old. And through their intentions, their good intentions, though they meant well, they ended Ming's story. Sorry, Ming. But going back to the card where people are imperfect. Oh, we didn't know. Oh, I'm sorry. We were just doing tradition, you know. Science traditionally will go through and investigate these kinds of things. And, you know, in some cases, you know, we lose a few. What is that saying? It's all in the pursuit of science. All right, well, let's disrespect Ming in the process, shall we? We've got the snow globe, memories, waiting for things to settle, souvenirs. Maybe someone's got this sick obsession. The number 8 could have something to do with the month of August, 8 days from now. It's a masculine number. It's a masculine action. Medlar open arse. A medieval action, mind you, coming in underneath this doctor and traditions. Medieval traditions at the doctors, trying to doctor something with medieval traditions. It's a masculine action. Oopsie. When does the chaos and the mayhem end? I mean, when is it enough? Again, I'm going to say it, trying to cover your behind by making another deal, covering up another state of evidence, another trail of evidence, leading all back to yourself and your group and your species. Do you know how good you'll feel when everything's out in the open and dealt with? You won't have to carry that around with you anymore. We've got gloves. You won't have to fight it anymore. Just don't fight it. Don't fight the darkness. Don't fight the abyss. Face it head on. Every single person has darkness within them. It's just who we decide that we're going to cater to. Everybody's an imperfect person. The buzz cut. Someone's cutting it awful close. Maybe someone has a buzz cut. The Amaryllis family is the onions, the garlics, the leeks. The garlic keeps the vampires away. The onions keeps the viruses away. Or infections. They say if you put a slice of onions in your sock, it's supposed to help you. If you put a slice of onion or a half an onion near your bedside, it's supposed to absorb the infected air quality around you. Oh, that must be witchcraft. Did you know that they were, anybody who was a nutritionalist or they were able to use supplements or some kind of herbology in the past, that they would classify those people as witches and get rid of them? Have you ever asked yourself why? That's what I was about, yeah. Did you ever consider the fact that maybe whoever decided the Bible to be and what it is, that maybe they didn't want people to be involved with psychics or go to psychics outside of the fact of keeping people safe from being misled, because that was obviously a thing, that maybe they didn't want the truth to be told? Whatever it was that they were doing behind the scenes, because of tradition, they didn't want the truth to be out there, so they said, hey, we could put it in the book that you shouldn't do this. I mean, the whole book is based on merit. And you've asked me, the prophets are psychics. The prophets were getting their messages from the Most High. Yes, you have to be mindful with psychics because some of them are communicating with the underworld. Some of them could be being misled by the underworld and they're not knowing that. And because of that, that's what the good book says that you need to stay clear from. These people could be thinking that they're doing the best, they have the best intentions. But the Most High is not of fear. The Most High is protective. The Most High is not of chaos. If it's of chaos, then it is not of the Most High. And you can't have fear and faith at the same time. It's impossible. Just like You can't have darkness where there's light. So anywho, the people who had the knowledge of using the herbs provided for by the earth, which the Bible does make reference to, that every ailment there is a solution given to you in the earth, by the earth. They didn't want people to have access to that. So they got rid of them. They said it was the right thing to do. They said it was, you know, they had good intentions. And let's just follow the tradition of things. And get rid of all the people who have the knowledge to use supplements and herbs. Mind you, do your research on those, because some of them conflict with whatever it is that you've already got going on. Pros and cons, interactions, things of that nature. Please do your research on all things. Everything you see here or whatever, you need to do your research. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm not a psychic. I'm an artist. I draw pictures and I tell stories through these cards. Parentheses, that's a side note. That's a little more information. Parentheses also has to do with the thought process that's connected to ADD. They say ADD is a, what is it, the DSM? They say it's part of the book, but what if it was a gift? It's a privilege to have ADD. It's a spiritual gift. We've got the feathers here. People will be judged based on the lightness of their hearts. Just saying. People will be judged based on their spiritual beliefs. They won't be judged on the fact that it was tradition. You can't go to the Most High in your time of review and say, oh, well, you know, it was tradition that we did things that way. That's the way that I was instructed that we were supposed to handle that situation. You think the Most High is going to say, oh, okay. The Most High is going to know where your heart is. It's a given. It's been encaptured, insulated. It's that fragment and that part of in time that's been encapsulated into the memory of. Just saying. Every spiritual deed that was done, every intention that was done out of good intentions, but left to the demise of an individual, causing hardship, sickness, pressure, a lack of balance, instability in another person, without checking in with your own discernment and the Most High. The Most High is of love. The Most High is of forgiveness. The Most High is of peace. If what you're doing or believing does not classify those things, then maybe you're not in connection with the Most High. I'm just saying. The Aniston cut, everybody wants it. Everybody wants her hairdo. I think they were calling it the Jennifer. I want the Jennifer cut. Just following suit. One person has it, so everybody wants it. Lost and found. Be your own individual. Connect with the Most High. Don't just follow everybody else because that's what they're doing. Come on now, you know better. But because of being an imperfect person, and perhaps being under the pressure of circumstance, or perhaps being part of a group that prides themselves on tradition, perhaps you were unknowingly making a deal with the devil. We've got the white skatefish, the mammal that uses the volcanic warmth in order to incubate its eggs, making use of what's already there and around them, leading to them just being a big old stick in the mud. Bridging the gap between two countries, two ideals, two ways of seeing things, two ways of living. Frizzy hair. Maybe they're at their wit's end. Or maybe they're like me, someone who can do everything that you can with your hair and it still comes out a little bit frizzy or a little bit flyaway. You could put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's actually the peace pipe. We've got the karma. Maybe someone is smoking something out of a pipe. Maybe someone's wondering, what in the world are you smoking? We've got karma coming out here, smiling now, crying later. I always want to smile. I always want to cry now and smile later. My ex used to always say, I'm going to smile now and cry later. I'm like, that's just backwards. I never understood why you would want to do that. It's like you're having so much fun and all you have to look forward to is sorrow and despair. I don't think so. That's not for me. Like literally. To each their own though, right? We've got the peacock here. There could be people who are thinking that this person is quite cocky in wanting to deal with their karma later. Maybe someone doesn't think that the karma will ever come to them because they made that deal with the devil. The devil uses people, folks. Did you not know that? The devil doesn't care about you. It's kind of like going to a job where it's like they run you ragged. And I'm going to end it because somehow they're doing gardening now. Where they just run you ragged and they don't, I mean, what if you needed a day off or an extra day off, or if you went on a leave of absence and they completely brought in the silence, or you asked for FMLA and they said it would take 6 months for you to get FMLA? That's a true story. They don't care about you. Once you're gone, they'll just fill your spot. The devil's the same way. There's somebody else that will take the deal. The devil doesn't need you. The devil doesn't care about you. With that being said, and the noise coming in, la 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 la, make it a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see if I can get this off so I can see the comments. But in the system now, the political situation here is a joke. There is nothing but corruption in the system now. That was from Mr. Squints. Thank you for your comment. Hello, Go079. Bird Lover C7J. Hello. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you being here and placing your comments. With that being said, make it a great day. There is something in every day that can make it just. You just have to choose to find the goodness in every day, in every situation. Take care.